QMARSEC today I discussed the use of AIS in mass rescue operations, and I basically used three anecdotal stories to go through the progression and the evolution of the system and how the use of it as it grows and its integration as but one tool of many and can be integrated into other systems to effectively respond in a mass rescue operation scenario. But really, the gist of the message that I was trying to relay was that AIS is a great tool. It can be used in many different facets, but it needs to be integrated into a common operating picture where that information, along with other information, sensory data, can all be integrated together to understand what's going on in the maritime domain. So I started by discussing the Manhattan boat lift of 2001 following the events of September 11th and how many ships came together merely through a radio call, but it would have been a very beneficial use if we had a system like AIS in place, up and running, to coordinate the response. Now, that response worked out pretty well. 500,000 people were moved off the island of Manhattan. I then highlighted how in 2009, when we had AIS technology and capability, that the plane that landed on the Hudson River, it was fortunate of the location that it landed, basically because it landed in an area where we had VTS information, vessel traffic service information, with other sensors and radars, where we were able to keep track of vessels that were making their approach up to the wings of where the passengers were offloading, and miraculously we saved all 130 people, and then took it to the next event that required some mass rescue operation. In this case, it was more responsive, getting supplies into Lower Manhattan after the events of Hurricane Sandy, and how the Coast Guard Operations Center with AIS in a common operating picture was able to utilize that information to coordinate vessels that were needed, that had critical supplies or critical fuel, to help Manhattan recover as fast as possible. Not only with coordinating vessels, but using it to promote safe navigation through confirming east navigation. I touched on what I believe the three pillars of maritime security cooperation are. That's to first be there, next is to be trained, and then following, the most critical thing I think is to be trusted. So being there is presence. So when we come together at events like this, we're able to exchange ideas and we're able to establish relationships and bonds. That allows us to not only be there in a room like this, but also be out on the Arabian Gulf and come together and work together. And that presence provides deterrence in the maritime security arena. It provides vessels that can respond in the event of accident or search and rescue scenario. And then I talked about being trained. And being trained means that we work on our proficiency and skill set as mariners, professional mariners. And those two things come together to hopefully build trust between us and the people that are using the Arabian Gulf, and have those three pillars as a foundation for success of cooperating together, because certainly not one country can do it alone. We all have to cooperate together, and the more we understand each other and come together and make connections at an event like this, the better off that we're going to be, and the stronger we're going to be.